If you are the owner of an accounting firm, you're a CPA, you're a bookkeeper, and you are struggling to make Google Ads work for you, this video is going to run you through how to win with Google Ads and generate high quality leads that can turn into long-term clients for your business. And if you're new here, my name is Michelle. I'm the founder of Level 28 Media, and I help local service-based businesses generate leads from Google Ads. So if you're interested in an audit or managed services, check out the link below and I'd be more than happy to have a consultation with you. Now in this video, I'm going to walk you through my high-level strategy of how to generate high-quality leads, and I'll take you through that right now. But before that, I wanted to just set an expectation here. If you're new to Google Ads or you've set it up and you're just not generating the best quality leads, I want to set the expectation that not all leads from PPC are going to be gold. Not everyone that's going to come through is going to hit your criteria mark, especially if you have a high set of qualification and criteria that you're looking for in a client. The challenge is that when someone searches on Google, you're not going to be able to know all those nuances to then know if they're going to be a good quality client or not. So do keep that in mind. You will get good quality, you may get bad quality, but putting these strategies in place that I'm going to share in this video is going to help increase the chances of you getting better quality leads. And also want to note that this strategy is for search campaigns only, so this is not for local search ads, Performance Max, or Smart Campaigns. So if you're running any of those, you probably would want to switch them off into search campaigns and apply these strategies that I'm about to share. So the first thing I want to ask you when you are launching a campaign here, you need to ask yourself, what type of business are you looking to attract? And if you're the owner of an accounting firm, there's many different types of services that you could offer. And I have some here listed: bookkeeping, payroll, individual tax return, corporate tax, tax resolution, tax advisory, and also industry types. If you are looking for more business to business or corporate clients, then you might also want to consider going after key phrases, keywords such as accountant for a marketing agency, accountant for a construction company, bookkeeper for a construction company, and so forth, because that's going to give you some level of nuances that you won't be able to get if you're just going after more general searches. So that's what I want you to think about. You need to identify what type of business are you looking to attract. Some accounting firms don't want to attract bookkeeping clients because bookkeeping clients to them don't pay enough in order to make things worthwhile. It's not a top line revenue generator or enough to make things worthwhile for their advertising. So they only focus on tax advisory and corporate tax. So do keep that in mind. And after you've identified your type of businesses that you're looking to attract, then this will help to determine your keyword list. This will also help to determine your campaign structure, because then you'll be able to build out campaigns with specific ad groups that are aligned with the type of business or services that you're looking to fill. And it will also help with your landing page structure. And I'll talk more about the landing page structure in a little bit, but we really need to focus on the basics here with identifying the services that you want to offer and spend your advertising dollars on to attract. The next thing I want to ask you is, what type of business are you looking to deter? So this will help to determine your negative keyword list. So if you are an outsourced accounting firm and you do not want to be attracting bookkeeping clients, then bookkeeping services, anything related to bookkeeping needs to be added to your negative keyword list so you're not attracting those types of clients or those types of leads. You can use the keyword planner to help determine what type of business you're looking to deter. So that will help you build out a negative keyword list. You can also use ChatGPT to help determine a strong negative keyword list as well. But you have to be very specific. Of course, the prompt that you put into ChatGPT is going to determine the quality of results that you get. but it's very important to have a negative keyword list, especially when you are serving a more local area and you have a more limited budget, and you really need to tighten things up before you start letting Google do its thing and spending your dollars in places that maybe potentially are not going to be the best fit. So having a tight negative keyword list is going to make sure that you're not going to be serving your ads for services that you do not want to attract or services that you don't offer. Also, add a list of local competitors to your negative keyword list. Google more and more, if you're using broad match and phrase match, which are specific match types. I'll talk about that more in detail in a bit, but using broad match and phrase match is going to attract competitor searches. So do keep that in mind and build out a negative keyword list if you're going to be using those match types. The next thing I want to address is location targeting. Where do you want to attract clients? Now, when I've worked with outsourced accounting firms, CPAs, a lot of times we do radius targeting. So you can do radius targeting, you can do city targeting, zip code, especially zip codes is good if you're trying to attract high-end clientele and you want to only focus on specific neighborhoods. Note that with zip code targeting, it's going to be very tight. It's going to limit your amount of searches, but it can yield good results if you're picking the right zip codes where there's high demand for the services that you want to offer. You can also target state. You can target county. There's a lot of different ways to target within Google Ads. There's not one wrong way. It's just a matter of testing and learning. I'll say that too, if you wanted to attract clients from outside of your state because you want to attract remote clients, that is also an option as well. So do keep that in mind. But most of the outsourced accounting firms that I've worked with focus more on local. The next thing I want to address is your offer and ads. So I have some examples here that I found on Google, but before I dive into that, I wanted to address, what do you have to offer that differs from your competition? Is it that you offer flat rate fees, you don't charge hourly? That's what's happening, or that's what 1-800-ACCOUNTANT is doing. And most CPAs do charge hourly fees, but it just depends. So what do you have that's different? This will help with your ad copywriting. Use all the real estate and assets available to you, just like what this company is doing here. And also use call assets. So this will allow people to call directly from the ad. This one doesn't have call assets that maybe they have it, but it didn't show up. But this one is a good example of an advertiser that's using all available real estate. It's got the image extension, it's got the business name, it's got the headlines with the value propositions that's flat rate and never hourly. It's got the location that I'm in. It's got the pricing. So the pricing could deter people away that may not be able to afford your services, or attract people too that can afford your services. Let's talk about monthly budget, because I think that's where a lot of advertisers get tripped up. And even before you set up a campaign, you need to determine what you can spend in advertising, and does it even make sense? Is it even worthwhile? So you can use the keyword planner in Google. It's a free tool to determine a good starting budget in your area. So for this, you would want to put in a list of sample keywords that you would want to go after or advertise on. And then you would look at the bottom and top ceiling of the bid range. And I typically would, based off of that, look at the average of them and then use the average to then determine how much I really need to be spending in advertising. I already have a video on how much you should spend on advertising with Google. I'll link that in the description below. But ideally, you would want a minimum of 10 clicks a day to be able to see any level of impact on your campaign. If you can't afford 10 clicks a day on Google, probably not going to be worthwhile for you. And when I say 10 clicks a day, 10 clicks a day for at least 5 days a week. So that's going to be 50 clicks a week. But typically for accountants, I would say, also depending on the area, so that's why I don't want to give you a blanket number, but typically the starting range is going to be at least 2,000 to 2,500 a month. But again, you'd want to do your research to determine that because every market's going to be different. Keyword match types. For new campaigns on a limited budget, I always recommend start with exact match first, the keywords with the brackets, so that at least you can control the intent and the keyword matches better than if you were to use phrase and broad match. Because like I mentioned previously, phrase and broad match can attract competitors and you might not want to spend on competitors. You only want to focus on non-branded general keywords that are related to the service you have to offer. But if you do have a growing budget and a budget where you would like to scale and open up to more volume, then yeah, you can definitely try phrase and broad. But I would always start with exact first, see what type of results you get, and then potentially open it up based off of the results that you're getting and if you have more budget. Bid strategy. Bid strategy, if you're starting out, you've got a more limited budget, I would recommend manual CPC until you can at least accrue at least 20 conversions in 30 days. Once you get to that level, if you can even get to that level with your budget, then I would recommend to test a smart conversion-based bid strategy. Maximize conversions with a bid limit or maximize conversions with a target CPA attached to it. Now, if you have any questions on that, I do have a video on bid strategies. I'll link it in the description below. But essentially, this is the way that I would start things out if I had a more limited budget, limited scope, see what type of results that I get, and then iterate off of that. Ad schedule. If you're just starting out and you're operating on a limited budget, same idea. Consider only running your ads only during times that a live person on your team can actively follow up. So ideally, you wouldn't want to be running your campaign on a Thursday at 11 p.m. You probably want to keep it more limited to office hours unless you have someone that's going to be available to call the lead back within a few minutes. Because time is of the essence here, and people, when they're doing their research, they're going to be moving quickly, and they're going to be moving quickly with the team that's going to get back to them the quickest with the best value and whatever else that they have to offer. But really, ad schedule, limited budget, keep things limited to the times that your team can follow up. Next up are audiences. What's a demographic of users that you want to attract? Use this to determine the type of age groups and audiences that you want to target. You can also use this information to determine age groups that you don't think would be a good fit. So let's say if you are only focused on corporate taxes, then you might not want to bid on the age group 18 to 24-year-olds because it's less likely that that age group would be able to potentially afford your services or be interested in corporate taxes services. They might be interested in individual tax filings, but if that's not what you want to focus on, then you might want to eliminate that age group in total. And you can also use this information to add audiences in observation mode. So people that are actively seeking accounting services or people that could potentially be looking at accounting software like DIY, you could be bidding to attract people that are looking more for DIY and say, hey, you shouldn't be using a DIY approach. You should be using a live CPA or accounting firm. Next thing is conversion tracking. It's critical to have conversion tracking. I've iterated this many times on my channel. reiterated this many times on my channel, but it's critical. Don't run your campaign without conversion tracking set up, especially if you want to use conversion-based smart bidding in the future. You need this in order to tell Google what leads are good quality so that it can go out and find more of that. And then want to touch on landing pages. You should have a dedicated landing page. I'm not going to force you to, but ideally, in my experience, landing pages do perform better than just standalone websites for this type of industry. You can test it for yourself. Landing page with an offer, a call to action, a landing page that loads quickly and is optimized for mobile, and also a landing page that's tailored towards a specific theme. So if you are trying to attract marketing agencies, if you're trying to attract construction companies, having a page specific to that industry or to that broad theme of the service that you want to that you have to offer will be important. So corporate tax, individual tax, etc. And then lastly, I wanted to touch on if you have scaled your Google Ads campaigns and you want to expand and see what else you can get outside of Google, you might want to consider Microsoft Bing. If you're trying to attract more B2B leads, this is definitely something to test out. Consider running a Microsoft Bing campaign if you have the budget for it. Typically, the audience there skews older and more affluent, so they could be business owners or they could just be people that have individual tax returns that might be a little bit more complicated than your average person. And Microsoft owns LinkedIn, so that will allow you to get some data points into audiences there that can be leveraged in Microsoft Ads. Now, if you have any questions on implementing this strategy, feel free to reach out in the comments or reach out through my website, and I'd be more than happy to have a discussion with you. If you had found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel, and I'd be very happy, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.